What's up, guys? So I'm going to give you a down and dirty tutorial on how to build these raised structures. You can kind of treat them as workspaces. I like this one because it's about, belly button height for me, so it's not bending over all day. But that was the first one I built, and I built this one that same day, and that took me about a total of 10 hours just me working on it. And really, they're not that complicated. Don't feel like you got to get a bunch of concrete and you have to get all these crazy ways of doing stuff. Really, all we're doing is playing with Legos, except it's pressure treated wood. So what you do is you want to work within increments of like 24 or 12, something like that. So your sticks are going to come in like 8 foot, the cheapest ones. You've got these in here, and so make them about 8 feet long, and then just decide on how high you want to go. I would say don't just go crazy, don't go high for the sake of going high, because what we're doing now is we're changing the cover around where it's more suited for lower stuff. So we'll probably get rid of this, and then it doesn't really create a need for a 6-foot sniper tower. But even these stand up just a little bit, and you just get a lot of extra view of the field. I'm gonna put a step right here, and then I'm working on reinforcement too. And there's ways you can cut costs too. Like really, Thunderdome 1.0 was built with a whole bunch of just like recycled wood, coal cart wood. When you get a pallet of wood in, these are what they come with. They're called breakers, and most of the time they'll give those to you. You got to ask at Lowe's or Home Depot if it's okay to have those, but these are perfect for like little pieces of cover. Out at Thunder Ranch, we just would take quarter pallets and pallets, take a sledgehammer, pound these into the ground, and screw them to it. So it's pretty much quick, cheap cover. Those quarter pallets are great. So pressure treated wood, I'd say do mostly that. If you can afford it, it's better to do that. And it really just depends on how long you want it to last for. Like this one was built with kind of a mix match, and then I'm going through and I'm kind of redoing stuff, and you can see which of the stuff was pressure treated and which was not. This over here is a pressure treated breaker, and this is the one I had to replace. So all the rot points were at the places where it wasn't pressure treated. So you can get about 2 or 3 good years out of just regular wood. So if you don't think it's going to last forever, just use whatever you can. But I would say focus on this long-term sustainability, so you don't have to go back and keep doing repairs on your cover. But the basic gist of these are 8 foot long, and the first one that Darren and Sam built, it took them about maybe an hour and a half to figure it out. But once they had it figured out, they had a guy cutting, they had a guy measuring, and then they had a guy screwing. And Sam cranked this one out in like 45 minutes. So all you're really doing is you're building the box on the bottom. There's 3 or 4 different ways you can do this, as far as like, do you frame the top, do you frame the bottom? Find whatever works for you. But you're building, you want to do 2x2 or 4x4s on the sides usually. If you have enough wood, just do 4x4s in the middle, and then you build a frame around it. Here's these junction points right there. So you can go crazy with it. I would just say I recommend using deck screws. Don't cut costs on the screws. Like, buy a good weather. I like these star bits. They just work so well, and it's just worth every penny of it. So you've got the other ones that will last you a good 3-4 years if you're lucky, and if it's in a non-pressure treated board, it's going to rust even quicker. But I had to pull these out, and I'm going to go back through and redo it. What else? Oh, the towers. If you do sniper towers, don't feel like you got to go super high. This was like, I wanted huge sniper towers, and now we're having to come back and fix it. Just this, it's got a sway to it, and it's because the backbone of it is a coal cart 4x4, and we've got that in there with carriage bolts. So the backbone's good, but we had to add all these braces to it. But if we would have just built like a 4-foot tall structure where your feet are at, you can much better spread that out and have it not be so narrow, because the kind of bendiness, the higher and thinner you go, you got to really reinforce the crap out of it. I'll probably come back through here. What we're doing for retrofits is we're just taking 4x4s or other 2x4s, and we're putting it on here. And you don't even necessarily have to take out the rotten wood if you're putting pressure treated stuff, because it's not going to rot away. Most of the time there's good pieces to it. If there's a really bad board, you absolutely pull it off. But here, I'll show you with this one over here. Oh yeah, Darren's working on the boat. It's going to be sweet. Swarm fire turret. RJ moved this out because this is going to be another entrance in through here, so you don't have to go through the fire pit area. But I just gave RJ the option to just reinforce it however he wanted to, and he opted to go with pressure treated 4x4s and just pull them out and almost start from scratch. This back one was another coal cart one. It's a 4x6, I believe, and now he's adding these 45s to it, and then we're going through down here, and we've hammered some rebar in here, and then we're just going to fill that with concrete, and that'll really add a lot of stability to it. But you really can't go overboard on towers. Anything that's going to be load bearing, you want to overbuild it, in my opinion, especially because of Nerf. People go nuts, they get excited. So once you've got your structures like that built, definitely build them all square. Like your gut instinct's going to be, you can see how that yard drops off a little bit on that side and kind of droops down. you're like, oh, I should build it higher on the back and then the front so I can level it up. No, just build a box, and then what you do, these have not been leveled yet, and I will take a crowbar or a claw hammer, and I'll go through and I'll dig a trench on this outside, and I'll just kind of lay on here. I'll put my level right at the end and kind of like hammer, 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 claw, 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 and then I'll get it about where I want it, and then I'll start building structures to it. I'll put a 2x4 back behind there. I'll sink it to that. Then I'll work on the next section. I'll work on the next section. Eventually, you start getting to the point where these little pockets right here, I'll put a 2x4 in there, and a 2x4 in here, and then I'll put something in the middle of that just to merge those together. So they're very modular. Like, I like to think that all of Thunderdome is movable. It's just a matter of like how much effort it takes. And don't go crazy on the joining these together. It only takes a couple of screws, maybe like 2 or 3 3-inch deck screws, and it's good, you know. Same thing over here. This was fine. It was much taller, but we opted to just drop it down. And what we're gonna do here, this is non-pressure treated wood that I just painted the crap out of. I will probably take these braces off and either add another 2x4 that's pressure treated, and just, it's called sistering when you put another piece of wood up with a bad one or a weak one, or even just a regular one that you want to reinforce. Put it up against there and then screw through all the way down. You don't have to go crazy if you got screws. If it's nails, just hit it, you know. And this is pretty sturdy. It still needs reinforcement. What Darren did down here is, this is actually oak pulled out of an 1850s Victorian. So it's not pressure treated, but man, you'd have to leave this in solid water for a long time for that to break down. And we'll probably go through, once I reinforce the base, we'll just, this concrete's all busted up. It's just like a brick. So what we'll do is just open it up, dump water on it, get as much out of it as we can just to add weight to hold it down. All right, this is getting kind of long, but progress is going well. It should be that all the way around. Actually, I got a question for you guys. I'm redoing all the nets. We've got this wildlife netting, and it has to be like 3 layered up. So I bought a bunch of screen stuff, like big rolls of screen door stuff, and I'm gonna redo everything. I've got, where is these things at? See, this is non-treated wood, but the cost was just way too much to get 2x2s that were pressure treated. So I just paint the crap out of them. These are gonna be long in the back. So the question is, leave an answer in the comment. On the Spectator stands, do you guys want netting in front of here? Like, the priority is nets behind, obviously, but I'm gonna build railing around here, and like, you could, I guess, like, we could do like slats or screen. I figured you guys would want to be open to the action, but do you want places that are covered completely with screens so you're not hitting with darts, or is that going to take away from the feel of just kind of being in the action while you're watching it? All right, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys.